Hey there and welcome back to another Disney video. And today I want to take a step back and talk about the film Encanto, and more specifically, the powers of the various different characters within the film. For those of you who may have forgotten or have for some reason not actually watched the film, Encanto is set in a fictional magical valley within the South American country of Colombia. Fleeing war and violence, Pedro and Alma Madrigal, a young couple with a set of infant triplets, make their way, along with various other people, to the setting of the film, only for Pedro to be struck down and killed by their pursuers. In her grief and fear, Alma somehow manages to make a candle she'd brought with them magical, which creates a magical realm for the community to live in peacefully, giving her a magical house in which to raise her children, and gives her the power to bestow powers upon other members of her family once they're old enough. And that really forms the crux of her storyline. In order to continue to protect and safeguard the community, she becomes hyper-focused and obsessive about the family using their powers in ways that help others, even when it might not necessarily be in the best interests of the family itself, or is putting pressure upon those same members of the family. So really, that's what I want to talk about today. Which powers are the worst, both from a personal standpoint and also from a serving the community standpoint, because, that really is the goal of these powers, to serve the family and the community. And honestly, some of them truly do suck. So, with that being said, let's get started. And man, it really does suck to have the weather powers, doesn't it? I mean, she's got to have the worst power in the entire family from both a personal and a serving the community standpoint. Can you imagine being told by your mum that you're going to inherit magical powers that will help you serve your family and your people, and then after a good 5 years of happy memories, you're saddled with emotional weather control for the rest of your life? And not just, oh, I'm sad so it's going to rain today. It's, I'm slightly annoyed or grumpy or upset, and so a localized cloud is going to appear above my head and soak me, probably making my mood even worse and kicking off a full-on hurricane, as described in We Don't Talk About Bruno. What a terrible curse to have to live with. And what if you're having a bad dream? Do you get woken up by your little cloud raining on you, soaking your bed? It would drive you nuts. And that's just from the personal standpoint. Because from a community standpoint, it's also almost useless. I mean, they live in a little valley, right? Probably a pastoral community, farms, plantations, animals, that sort of thing. So really, you'd want good weather regularly. Rain, yes, from time to time, but not too much rain. I mean, imagine how many crops were ruined during her teenage angst years. Imagine the devastation of the weather each time she gave birth. And I mean, as a 50-year-old woman, she's clearly not able to maintain a very good hold over her emotional state. So obviously, either she's unstable, or this thing is impossible to control. Just watch her scenes from the film. She's a full-on liability. Good thing they have a super strength person to help rebuild the town every time she gets upset. So yes, this is the worst power. And I don't think it's even close. And next up, we have super hearing. And really, this one also sucks. Like, yes, it can help you find a lost kid or an animal from time to time, or stay up to date on the local town gossip, but otherwise, surely the community would be weirded out by this creeper who invades people's private conversations and can hear all sorts of stuff that they don't want her to. Like, really, would you want her listening in while you're getting scolded or being really romantic, or when you're in the middle of an argument? Probably not. But then from her perspective, it's even worse. She seems to struggle to turn off her hearing thing. It seems to be innate. After all, she listens in on heaps of conversations without meaning to, and can hear Bruno in the walls. Side note, I know he freaked her out, but her family were clearly mourning his loss and she never thought to tell them he was there being a lurker in the walls. Anyway though, she seems to not be able to turn it off. So that means when she's having her breakfast, she's just sitting there. She can probably hear the stomach-churning sounds of people everywhere taking their sloppy morning shit. Or, when she's laying awake in bed at night, she can hear her parents having sex. Or her teenage brother. Well, I don't think I need to explain too much more than that. I mean, this power is guaranteed to drive you insane. I just don't see why you would possibly want to live like this. I'd rather have no power. But I do think those are the only two bad powers. Here we go to the fun powers, but ones which I don't think have that much use. And I think we'll start with shape-shifting. This power would be fun. Very fun. Being able to morph into anyone you choose? Hell yeah! But beyond that, how's it actually useful? I mean, yeah, it probably makes people happy, but that's about it. It's a really specific niche power. Like, there's no generic use for this thing beyond being fun and being a handy helper when you need somebody strong or small or whatever. but it would still be one of the better ones to have. And talking to animals is pretty much on the same level as this. It's a fun party trick and can be useful to the community. I mean, you'd probably be the best vet in the world, but at the same time, I can't imagine how freaky it would be to be chilling alone and then suddenly you hear somebody speaking to you, only for you to discover it is in fact the spider that lives in the corner of your kitchen. Nope, I am out of here. Also, you could just never kill another bug again. No fly spray, no nothing, none of it. Hearing them beg you to spare them as you kill them? Pfft, that's a one-way trip to the therapist, my friend. And we'll round this one off with being able to see the future. Yeah, you have to sit in a giant sandpit and hope for the best with your prophecy, and the only answer you get is a green glass tablet that you have to figure out for yourself, but still, it would be handy to have. Power of prediction's nothing to sneer at after all. But the only real problem with this is like what happens in the movie. It's always the bearer of bad news who gets blamed. They always shoot the messenger. So it would be pretty frustrating in a number of ways to have this power, and yeah, I'd probably end up living in the walls as well. And so this brings us to the great powers that seem to have nothing but upside. First of all, super strength. Yes, please. For one, ego boost. You're strong and you're needed and you're cherished, and so as long as people don't put too much pressure on you like in the film, you can end up living a pretty happy life. And then on top of that, you'd be so useful for the community. Building, clearing debris, helping little old ladies carry home their shopping. The possibilities are endless. But next we come to growing plants at will. Or according to the wiki, she can make flowers bloom everywhere. We see her make lots of beautiful little flowers and even cacti. So not too bad. You can make a nice happy little landscape. Good for your mental health. And you can make the community look beautiful too. Yeah. All well and good. But this power also ensures that nobody will ever run out of food. Just bloom edible flowers and nobody will go hungry in times of crisis. Broccoli, cauliflower. You eat the flower head with those plants. Yum. Hell, realistically, she can probably just bloom most plants. World hunger ends today with this one power. Hooray! Well, until you die, of course, but who cares about that? But is this the best power? Almost, but not quite. Because her mum can heal with cooking. Yep, guess she's saved the world. We see her reverse anaphylaxis in the dad. We see her heal some dude's snapped wrist. Can she cure cancer? Heal gunshots, stabbings, paralysis, heart attack, stroke, HIV? Could she suddenly cure COVID with just her cooking? Hell yeah! Make some long life canned goods and you suddenly have cured the majority of the world's ailments for the duration of your lifetime. You'll be a hero. No one will die except for getting old or accidentally. But you can't seem to stop those. This has to be the greatest power ever. I mean, they hardly touch on it, but it's true. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. This one is perfect. Oh, and the abuela has a power, but I won't rank that one because it's giving out powers. It doesn't seem like a fair comparison for the rest. But anyway, that's all I've got today. And these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What do you think of the ranking? Agree, disagree? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.